get the Twitter stuff going. Send that tweet out. Get our bot going. And send out Discord stuff. Alright. Hello, everyone. This is Chris Ingerson, and it is January 23rd. And this is the January 23rd Text Quest Devstream. So, today we are going to be doing a little bit more of our audio stuff that we were doing last week. I'd like to move the ambient system that we came up with last week and basically roll its functionality into the music system, because we're really kind of doing how to phrase this. The problem is that right now I have a system to fade out ambience, but the only time I'm really going to want to do that is through the music manager. So whenever I actually tell the music system to play something, I'm going to want to crossfade ambience down when that happens, and I'm not really going to want to do it anywhere else. Now, for the time being, we're probably going to keep those two classes separate, so that the ambience manager can instead kind of be treated more like a general, a general like audio controller, and then the music system can itself tell it to crossfade down while music is playing. Mostly because I feel like, one, there's no reason for me to make two calls to two different functions, when instead I just want to say I want to play music, and I can just pass that relevant information for what I want to crossfade audio down to the music system itself. And the music system can, parse that out and send it wherever it needs to go. So that's what we're going to be starting off with today. And assuming that we make pretty decent time on that, we will jump over to the next big thing, which is loading screen minigames. So currently, I'll go ahead and... this is going to give us a bad example, actually, because none of these are functioning minigames. I probably should have picked like the sewer level. That would have been a better choice. So currently the minigame system in TextQuest is a couple of different word-based games. They're like unscramble the word or type a word or sentence as fast as possible. So you should see a template show up whenever I make the transition to the canyon here. It's not going to look pretty. It might not actually do anything at all, because it probably is set up to anticipate nothing. So, yeah, so you can see the instructions there. Type the phrase quickly, so there would be like a little phrase up here that's got a little progress bar behind it. And if you type the words and hit enter before the progress bar fills up, then you get a little bit of lore and all that. But I don't know. I think that minigame system is a little too complex for a minigame, even though I know it's just, typing a word really fast or typing a couple of words very fast. Hello, Dusted. Welcome back. Happy Tuesday indeed. How are you doing today? So anyway, that's the current minigame setup. Obviously, this one is a bad example because there's nothing actually happening, but I think it would be nice just to simplify that down to some, I don't know, basically some like ASCII art, and then have very simple controls for like dodge left, dodge right, dodge left, dodge right, stuff like that. And it would also be nice to have transitions or loading screen minigames be transition specific. So when I'm going from the plains to the canyon, I'll get a specific animation. When I'm going from the castle to the sewers, I'll get a specific animation and all that. And that's a little bit more work, but I think it's, one, a little bit more enjoyable because it'll be simpler for people to understand what's going on, and two, it will be a little bit more playful in our actual loading screen instead of just getting like a loading bar and then manually having to type start. And three, the main benefit for this, honestly, is that I've gotten a lot of, I don't want to say complaints, but I've discussed this with a lot of playtesters at conventions, and one of the most common feedbacks for the loading screen is they don't really like that they have to type start to continue. They just want it to kind of like fade in when it's done. And that makes sense because some people kind of just stare at the loading screen for a while before they realize, oh, I have to type start. And that's not really good user experience, and that's understandable because there's not really a thing aside from TextQuest that I know of that asks you to type start when it's done loading. There are a couple of games that do things like that, like a press start to continue, but it's very rare, and that's definitely not the tradition nowadays. Um, it's eh. So that's one of the things that I would like to focus on today. But first, we're going to start with our music stuff. So let's go ahead, grab our music system, and we can close some of the wood stuff because I was working on that yesterday. So we are going to also open up our ambience. Where are you? Here we are, ambience manager. And that's interesting. Why is our... Oh, right, because music system is something different. That makes sense. I wonder if we could make a generic one. That would be... No, we can't, because ambience manager has to know about two things. Has to know about sector 2. Yeah, I got to give into standard game literacy at some points, I guess. Yeah, and that honestly is one of my weaker points, is that I'm really bad at taking away features. Like, there's a good phrase, which is kill your darlings, or kill your babies, one of the two. I'm pretty sure it's kill your darlings. And that's basically don't hold on to ideas that you personally like, even though they are kind of objectively bad. So I just want to streamline that whole system and make it a little bit more of a simplistic and visually interesting experience, as opposed to just kind of a word with a loading bar over it. Okay, so the ambience manager currently only will fade out ambience and for the built-in Unity mixer and the sector ambience, but it's probably a good idea to have ambience manager instead shift to like an audio manager, kind of, where it will control every single audio mixer and bus. So that includes music and master, all that. That way I can actually do things like fade out audio when you transition out of when you're transitioning into a loading screen. We do that crossfade to blackness, basically. I'll go ahead and show that again. And then we can we can fade the audio out when that happens, and then we can do the same thing where we fade it in once it's actually loading in. Yeah, I'm gonna have problems with that too. It's one of the most common issues I think that game developers have, to be fair, and as I've said, I definitely suffer from it. Because you get an idea and you're like, it's perfect, it's immaculate, everyone will love it. So you can see that we fade to black here, but the audio is still going, and that's kind of weird because at a certain point that happens, it just cuts off. So what we would probably ideally like to do is it would, as it's fading to black, it's going to fade the audio out, and then once it's done loading, it's going to fade the audio back in the new area. Go ahead and stop that. Cat wants attention. Yes, I see you, cat. All right. So let's go ahead and... You know what? Maybe I should make this... Well, give me a second here. Set volume internal, sector ambience volume. Right, so... yeah, this is going to be fun. I think we're going to need a couple of things. First up, we are going to want to have a audio type, I guess. It's just going to be an enum. So we'll go ahead and say audio type. I'm actually I'm going to be surprised if I don't already have something called audio type. If that does not already exist in the project, I will be thoroughly surprised. And compile. Once you feel like it, Unity. No rushes, Well, while this is going on, anyone playing anything interesting recently? I'm also going to go ahead and refresh some stuff, and let's go ahead and open this up. Aha! I also want to make sure that I don't have something called audio type. I have audio types. Is that already doing what I want? Kind of. I'm going to go ahead and see if this is even used anywhere. Alright, getting rid of it. There's no reason to have it, so go ahead and get rid of that. Okay, let's go back here. Ah, of course I had it open. That's going to cause some problems. All right, audio type. So we want this to be text quest, and this is going to be a enum that's derived from byte. Haven't been playing much. Mostly coding. I understand that. There have been some periods of my life where I go like a week without playing a game because it's like, oh, I just haven't had time to sit down and do it. Um, Recently, I've been playing Breath of the Wild, the new Legend of Zelda game, and I'd already played through it once, but I recently got the DLC for it, so I'm playing on Master Mode. Let's see, so we want to start with Master, and it is way harder on Master Mode. Who would have thought? Let's say music next. 5. Ambience, and then SFX. But it's very, very fun, especially if you've learned the basics of combat. Well, not the basics, but the advanced parts of combat in the base game. Master mode is actually really, really fun. Also, everything kills you in like one hit, so you got to get really good. But it's pretty enjoyable. I'm a big fan of the Legend of Zelda series, so. All right, so with that, we're going to go ahead and go over here to Ambience Manager. Now, here is where things are going to get kind of messy. So, our actual current script is fairly basic, which is good. We don't actually want that to change. But we are going to need to make some alterations. So, instead of having an audio mixer group, we're probably just going to have an audio mixer. Because you can't really do anything with the mixer group anyway. So we'll rename this. So we'll say audio mixer for Unity's. I guess Unity's audio groups. And that's going to cause some compilation errors, but we're going to fix that. And next, we are going to kind of do some, well, we're going to need a new class. So we're going to say public class, and we'll say audio group. And this is going to take a public, I guess this would be a string for mixer volume param is equal to that, followed by public sector audio bus, and this is going to be our sector bus, and that's going to be nothing. And then of course we'll end with, or start with, I guess, public what's that, audio type, and this will be our type, which is going to be audio type.master by default. So we'll have this group of audio groups, or this array of audio groups, and we'll basically be replacing these two fields with that list. So let's go ahead and say serialize field, private, audio group, groups is equal to new, audio group. And I think we could probably do this just to start off. We can go ahead and initialize everything the way we want. You know what, we can just... Oh, I guess actually we can't. There's not much point. Yeah, we'll go ahead and do that. So we'll say public audio group. There's no real reason for me to be doing this like this, but why not? We'll go ahead and say audio type, followed by string mixer param. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and say this dot type is equal to type. Then this dot mixer volume param is equal to mixer param. And now I can just go ahead and declare all that here. So I'm going to say new audio group, audio type dot master, and then pretty sure that's going to be master volume. Like 90% sure that's the case. Master volume, comma, new audio group, type.music. New audio group. Audio type dot ambience. And finally, new audio group. Audio type dot sfx. All right. Let's see. I know that that's the ambience volume. Pretty sure that music volume is just this. And I am like 90% sure that this is just... The real question is, did I capitalize or camel case those? So let's go ahead and see if I can find this. Find all. There are only so many places that this is going to be there. So let's see. Game settings. Yes, okay, so it's camel case. That's good. Alright, let's go ahead and get rid of that. And that should, for the most part, show everything that we need. Oh dear, did my stream go down? Oh no, it's fine. False alarm. Sorry, my Twitch page was just black for a while. I'm like, oh no, that's not good. Alright, let's go ahead and let that compile. Oh wait, it won't, because I have errors down here. And that means that we got to change some stuff. So, set volume. All right, we're going to go ahead and change this to take an audio type. So that's going to be the type that we want to crossfade. And once we have that, we will be able to. This is going to be suck. Yeah, that's going to suck. So this is actually going to complicate our stuff a little bit more because of this reset volume thing. Because we're not really going to be able to do that very easily. Actually, no, that won't be too bad. Okay. So I guess we're going to go ahead and add a couple of private functions. So private float get default volume, and that's going to take a audio type, a type, and that's pretty much all we need. And then I guess we'll go ahead and actually, you know what? We'll change this from get default volume to just get volume, and then that will take a float normalized value, and that should be what we want. So this is going to be a function that will basically take a look at the default values for whatever type you specify. So if you specify master and you have a master volume of 100, if you pass in a normalized value of 1, then you'll get back a value of 1. If you reduce master to 50, then when you push in a normalized value of 1, you'll get back 0.5. Basically, that's all it's going to do. And we're going to use that to calculate out, things that we have to crossfade to. So let's go ahead and say switch type case master. Go ahead and break out there. And for that, we're just going to say game settings dot master volume. And we are just going to return. So this is going to be, I guess this would be return mathf.lerp from 0f to that based on normalized value. I think that's pretty much all we're going to do. Let's go ahead and copy this a couple of times. Twitch will do that sometimes. Yeah, I really don't like it when Twitch freaks out like that, because I never know if it's my fault or if it's just Twitch being Twitch. And then I get super panicky. So we're going to say ambience SFX. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and change this to music, ambience, and SFX. Okay, very, very simple. And then, of course, if nothing, we'll return 0f, or I guess 1f, might as well. And once we have that, then we are going to need, let's see. Oh, I suppose the next thing we would want is private audio group, get group based on an audio type. And we're just going to do a for loop for int I equals 0, I is less than groups dot length I plus plus. We'll go ahead and return null if nothing gets found. Otherwise, we'll say if groups of I is equal to not is equal dot type is equal to type, return groups of I. Oh, we don't need Moana crap here, Sky. Nah. Anyway, welcome back, Sky. How have you been? Alright, so that's going to get our group. And that should be pretty much the only two real helper functions that we need. So, let's see here. Set volume internal, which I guess we'll just go ahead and take a type as well. So we're going to say audio type. So we'll pass type here. Alright, yeah, we're going to have you do nothing for now. I'm pretty sure that we won't actually be able to reset. Well, no, I guess reset volume will reset volume for everything unless we specify an actual type. So, set volume internal. Okay, here is where we get fun. So we're going to want to say ambience.audio mixer. Wait, what? Oh, no, that's fine. So we'll go ahead and get rid of that part. We'll say set float. We are going to need to go ahead and say audio group is equal to get group based on type. So we're going to want to go ahead and say group dot mixer volume param followed by let's see. We don't really care about that. And I guess that's true, so that would be that. We might need to change our get volume stuff. Yeah, okay, so it's this. So that's the actual range that we want from our lerping. Oh, crap, and then we need that too. Right. So we need all of this. We're going to go ahead and move that back. So we're going to go to here. Let's go ahead and paste that in. So it's going to be master set boys, or whatever you identify as. Well, I personally identify as a 12th level warlock, which is frowned upon occasionally. Alright, so we're going to have settings, mixer curve, dot evaluate. Oh, actually, aha! I've been meaning to do this before I forget. Assuming that I can actually do this. If you guys are on Discord, you should totally join the Discord that I use. /have/run. I don't know. Whatever it's called. Because TextQuest has a Discord now. And I've been meaning to post it. I keep forgetting to post it. Let's see. Evaluate. So this is going to take... Wait, normalized value isn't a thing? Oh, it's because that's normalized volume, not value. That's fine. Normalized value. Let's go ahead and do a semicolon there. All right. So that should be pretty much everything that I would expect. Yep. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and basically copy this and paste that on all of these. So this is our music. Here is our ambience. And there is our SFX. Alright. I got more people on the Discord. /persons. I'm still trying to figure out the whole Discord thing, so I apologize if my Discord seems somewhat less I don't want to say chaotic, I want to say productive. No, not productive. Less interesting than other people's. I'm still trying to figure out that whole thing. Anyway, so that should give us our actual correct values from get volume, which means that now we are going to go ahead and say set float. We'll go ahead and get our value here. So we're just going to move over to here. Get volume. That's going to take a type and normalized volume. Nice. And let's see, sector ambience is equal to, oh crap, right. So this will be rename. I guess this will be get mixer volume. And then that means we'll have a new private float. Get sector volume. Again, based on audio type. Type, and then float normalized value. Which I guess would actually just return the normalized value, wouldn't it? Yeah, but I do have the curve, so we're just going to go ahead and grab all of that. So we'll just say return that. Oh, crap. No, it's got a... Right. Whoops. So we got to change that real quick. So we're going to say switch type case type.master, and let's go ahead and move this. Otherwise, we'll return 1F by default. All right. So this is going to take our master. Let's go ahead and copy and paste this a couple of times. And music, ambience, and SFX. Doing the food in mouth exercise. It's a work in progress. Well, thank you very much. It's such a work in progress that I actually have a work in progress channel. Ha ha ha! Sorry, I couldn't resist. This game is finished. I'll hire you for a new project. I feel like I would not be a good employee. I guess I'm a decent one, though, because I haven't been fired from my work, so... At the very least, I'm not a terrible one. Ambience, and then SFX. I actually don't know what I'm going to do after I finish Text Quest. I know I'm going to start work on another game, I just don't know how long it'll be. Like, is it going to be a couple of days before I start, or maybe a week? I don't know. I doubt I'll stay down for too long. I legitimately don't know what it's like to not work on a game all the time. It's a weird feeling for me to try and imagine that. Okay, so that should get us our sector volume. And after that, we're going to want to go ahead and say normalized volume times get sector volume, passing in type and normalized value. You pay in farts. I only take butts. That is, I feel like farts is the peasant's currency, really. I like to take the whole butt. Okay, so let's go ahead and we gotta do the same thing down here. Go ahead and change that to get float. Start ambience. We are going to change this. Oh, right. Hold on. Let's go ahead and pass in type here, and we will go ahead and do the same thing here. Pass in type. We will basically do the same thing here. So this is going to be get mixer volume that we want. Let's go ahead and grab all of this. Paste that. Okay, so that should get us our get mixer volume. Now we need to get sector volume. Ooh, actually, hold on. Did I? Okay, no, that's right. So we'll get sector volume. I'm actually looking for a developer to do the coding and textures for a project game thing I want made. Have you messed around with any visual scripting tools? Um, like if you're using Unity, a popular one is Playmaker. It's basically a visual scripting program. So if you're not experienced with coding, it's actually a really good way to get a prototype up and running before you try to like get a programmer on board or before you start showing it off to people. It lets you do stuff if you have no coding experience. And even though I hate visual programming, it's a very good tool for people who don't know how to program. So it's one of those things where I hate it because it limits me, but it's great for everyone else. All right, so let's go ahead and set that and okay. So I think that's pretty much going to take care of everything that we want actually. So we'll go ahead and let this compile, except I'm guessing it won't because there will be something that's trying to call that function. And there it is. Let's go ahead and open this up. We're going to pass in a hard-coded type for now. We'll say audio type dot ambience. Okay, very, very simple. Let's go ahead and let that compile. And now I think, oh no, we got music trigger. So same thing here, we're just going to say audio type dot ambience. And then audio type dot ambience. So that is going to be, yeah, that's just going to be something that we do to make it compile. After that, we're going to get into the nitty gritty of actually getting it to automatically clean up after itself and restore volume. Because we didn't really do that last week, and that's something that I would like to have just automatically be done. I'll try it out. Yeah, Playmaker is the big one. I think there are a bunch of other solutions if you're using Unity, and of course if you do anything in Unreal, there's a built-in visual scripting thing in the form of blueprints. All right, so I think right now we should just have the same behavior as before. So if I were to, let's see, where are you? Triggers, cabin unlocked, trigger value is false. Okay. So I should be able to trigger the music, similar to what we were doing last week. And it should basically sound the exact same as before. The audio for the ambience should crossfade down a little bit, and then the music should play at its full strength. So let's go ahead and trigger this. I don't think it crossfaded. Let's look at our audio mixer. It did not. Also, oh, that's right, because we haven't set that up. Duh. Also, fun fact. Apparently playing that song, the song that I had made for my game, is enough to have Twitch flag my video. So, like, last Thursday's video is muted right now because Twitch thinks that I stole that song. And I keep trying to appeal it, but I can't because the pop-up to appeal never comes up. So, got to email someone about that. All right, let's see. We have to go to our resources, if I can find that folder. Aha! Let's see. So, Ambience Manager. We got to set up our groups. Okay. Right. Let's go ahead and grab these things. So here is our ambience sector bus. Here is our sound effects bus, music, and master. Okay, so that takes care of that, and everything else should automatically work, I believe. So let's just go ahead and collapse that. And we can test that again to make sure that it actually works. I lied again because, yeah, I just realized that I skipped a very important part of this, which was telling it to crossfade the groups mixer, not the freaking ambience one. So let's go ahead and stop that real quick. We gotta go back to Ambience Manager. Yeah, because guess what I forgot to do? Right there. And right there. Those are hard-coded references. That's not what we want. We want to change this to be group. Oh, no, actually, no. We do want to say ambience dot set float. That part is correct because we're just using the group dot mixer. But this we want to say group dot sector bus. So we got to convert that. Sector ambience. Let's go ahead and add that. Sector ambience. there, and there. We need to change this to group.mixer volume param. Let's go ahead and grab that. Okay, and okay, so real quick to make sure I'm not accidentally referencing them, let's go ahead and see find all references. Any references? Nope. Same here. Find all references. Nope. Good. So I'm going to go ahead and just get rid of. Wow. Don't know what happened there, but it lagged. Okay. We're just going to get rid of these. And that. And that. Okay. I think we're good. Let's go ahead and save that. Let that compile. Plus, it's fun. I'm gonna make a game, but not finish it. Then put it on early access. Never update it. But sell it for $30. Well, I mean that sounds like you're gonna be the next Bluehole Studios then. You know, gotta get out there and get all that loot crate / battle royale money. Plan on releasing my games on itch.io for free and probably only finish one. Well, I mean that's a perfectly viable strategy, honestly. I've seen a lot of people that just like to make games and release them for free. And you know, in an ideal world where I didn't have to eat or have a roof over my head, I would actually probably do that. But since I would like to make this my full-time job, I unfortunately can't. In any case, let's go ahead. Grab that, and oh, that's interesting. There's a threshold volume. Oh, I guess -80 is fine. Okay, so now we should be able to play, and it should actually crossfade out, and it should behave the exact same. So we should be good. Let's try that again. It's not. Nope, it is not. Interesting. Oh, right, duh. Because I renamed that. I don't know why I didn't. I am stupid. There. It's because I saw that the field wasn't empty, and I just assumed that it was correct. Everything else is good, though, right? Yep. All right, let's try that one more time. Third time's a charm. Yeah, if I didn't already have a full-time job making these things, my policy would probably be very different. Yeah. Well, and I mean, that's what my job is, too. My actual work that pays me is making games, but they're not exactly the type of games that I want to make, and Okay. There we go. That actually seems to have faded out like we would expect. Yep, there it is. So let's go ahead and stop playing. I should have checked sector, but I'm assuming that it's working. So for this, we are probably actually going to want to crossfade out ambience and sound effects, not just ambience. And this is the main reason for my reconfiguring this. So we are going to want, let's see here. Actually, let's go ahead and open up our music system. Let's see, so we have a music group. What do we even use you for? Oh, we just tell it what music group or what audio group it belongs to. That's fair. One day, someone you will be like, host biatch. Full-time Twitcher. Yeah, I don't know if I could do streaming for a living, honestly. Because I personally prefer to just kind of work in the code mines. And then, like, basically come out of my house and hold up a copy of the game over my head and have people be happy that it exists. But, you know, that's kind of a very unrealistic way to do things in the world, so. And that's why producers exist, for the most part. Okay, so let's see here. We want to go to play, and oh my goodness, this is going to just be all sorts of fun, because we have so many things that we have to accommodate for. Crap. So, let's see, discovery trigger, music trigger. We tell it to play, which means it has a 0 crossfade. Oh no, it has a 2 crossfade. That's fair. Um, so we're basically going to change our music system coroutine here. And I'm pretty sure we have a coroutine that's... Oh, we don't. Oh, no, we do. We have the on music stopped. Um, so... Trying to think about how we want to structure this. We basically want to have the music system automatically access Ambient Manager and crossfade um, other bits of audio down. So we need a volume to be passed in somehow, or we need a hard set value for that crossfading. And I don't really know what a good one would be. I mean, it seems like we would be fine having a flat value no matter no matter what is triggering this audio or this music, but I don't know if we should have each trigger manually control its ambience volume like it currently does. We have this ambience volume slider here. And we could have that be trigger specific, but it feels like it would be fine to have a global value for that. It just means that we would need to have that set on the actual music system. So we would need to have something. Let's go to, let's see, it's up here. So we would have to have our music system here say what its global crossfading would be, and that makes sense, I think. But then I have to think about situations in which maybe it would be important for the audio to be faded up. But let's go ahead and just add that global slider for now. And do I want to make it a... Yeah, no, that's fine. So let's go ahead and say a couple of things. One, find all references. Are you used anywhere else? Nope. Are you used anywhere else? Nope. Hooray! New workflow, or new coding practices. So serialize field. Serialize field. Private. Okay. So serialize field. Oops. Private. This is going to be our audio type, and we're going to call this ambience type is equal to audio type dot. Oh, haha! I knew that there was an audio type somewhere else. Ooh. Okay, so I need to specify audio types. That's fun. So that means I need to do sleepy owl dot text quest dot audio type, which it doesn't like. What do you mean it doesn't? It totally does. Timeout. CPL dot. What is going on here? Oh, it's because I'm not using. Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. That is not great. I forgot. Music system is in common. So that complicates things. Well, I suppose we could move the audio type enum into common. That probably wouldn't hurt too much. Ambience manager. Yeah, I think that would be fine. So let's go ahead and, before we do anything else, let's go ahead and save this. I'm going to rename this to audio types. We are going to move it into the common namespace. So that's all fine. We're going to move ambience manager. Well, we're not going to move it. We're going to keep that in text quest. We're going to say using sleepyowl.common. Okay, that is that. Everything else should compile now. So we should be able to just go ahead and come over here and say private audio types. Oh, right. Nope, you're not going to be able to find it yet, are you? Okay, so we got to move this script first. So let's go ahead and do that. Where are you? Let's go ahead and rename this to audio types. And then once that's done, I'm going to have to wait for it to compile so that I can drag it away from there. Otherwise, assembly definition files are going to go nuts. Let's see. It's absolutely fair. I love my work, but I wish I got to make different games. Yeah, and I think that's kind of just how everyone feels if they're a game developer by both trade and heart. Um, Most of the time, you're not going to be making the games that you want, but they give you the skills to make the games you want. Wish I had work. If I had $1 million, I'd be your publisher. I appreciate it. I feel like you would probably be able to find better projects, though, mostly because there are projects that probably would not be made if they didn't have money, versus this, which is one of those games where the sky could be falling, and I'll be like, not yet, I must finish. Well, thank you for stopping by, Sky. All right, so let's go ahead and move this up. And we're going to want to put this here, I guess. All right. So with that, it's going to force a recompile of Sleepy Owlsoft and TextQuest. But I'm going to collapse this. No reason for that to be there. With that, we should be able to come back here. It's going to cause a little bit of a re-import, and then I should now be able to actually do this. Okay, hold on. Oh, this just got way more complicated, and I... okay. Let me think. Got it. I know what I need to do. We're going to change this. Funny enough, we're going to move everything back to where it was. Let's see. So we're going to grab music system, or no, we're going to grab audio types. Let's go ahead and just grab that and move it back. So I'm just going to make a class derived from music system. I don't know why I didn't do that in the first place, but that's what's happening now. Ah, crap. It's compiling. Great. And since I'm dragging something, if I let go of the mouse button, it's going to drop it wherever it was. So I have to hold on to it and hope that it finishes compiling before I drag anything. Okay. So let's go ahead and put this back. Right there. All right. So we're just going to make a new class derived from Music Manager or Music System. That's going to just be called probably TQ Music System, and it's just going to build on top of its functionality. Although that really sucks because that means I'm going to have to turn all of this into virtual functions. Oh, no. Actually, I won't. Oh, that's nice. I won't need to change anything except for just a second. Play music, I think. We are going to have to change these functions to be protected and virtual, I think. But everything else should be the same. So let's go ahead, right click, I'm going to say create, C# script, we're going to call it TQ Music System. Alright, let's go ahead and open up audio types. Open up TQ Music System. We're going to put this back in the TextQuest namespace. Let's go ahead and save that out. We're going to go over to Ambience Manager. We're going to drag that over here, get rid of this. Okay. We're going to go to Music System here. We're going to put this in the TextQuest namespace, of course. And it's also going to need to be using sleepyowl.common. It's going to derive from Music System. Okay, so now we're going to come over to Music System, go all the way up here, and we're going to change these to protected. Grab these, get rid of the extra space here. We'll go ahead and make this protected. Protected. Actually, we can make you private because we won't ever reference you like that again. And that should be good for that. We're going to need to come down here to the very bottom and change these to be protected virtual voids. Protected virtual void. Alright. So let's see. Mostly it's okay. Wait. There's. Oh, jeez. Ah. The Moana soundtrack. Um, Mostly it's okay if it's made out of sticks and held together with duct tape. People don't care as long as it meets requirements. Yeah, that's true. Let's go ahead and paste this in. Paste that. Paste that. Paste and paste. All right. Oh, we got an extra space there. We should be good there. And let's go ahead and move this over to TQ Music System. All right. So first things first, let's go ahead and say serialize field, followed by private audio type. I'm sorry, audio types. And we are going to say ambience type is equal to audio types dot ambience. Then private float. Yeah, so there's going to be float ambience volume. It's going to be equal to, I guess we did 0.25. Let's go ahead and serialize that. Then we are going to do the same thing. Serialize another field. We'll say private audio types. This will be SFX types. I'm sorry, type is equal to audio type dot SFX. Same thing. We're going to serialize field private float SFX volume is equal to, we'll say 0.25 again. We're also going to go ahead and make this a range value that it goes from 0F to 1F. And we will also make this a tooltip. It says volume to set sound effects to while music is playing. Let's go ahead and just grab that, paste that here, and we're going to say ambience to while music is playing. All right, so we're going to leave that like that for now. We'll let that compile, and then I'm going to go ahead and replace the global music system with its new text quest variant. So somewhere around here I'll find it. Where did it go? Why is my custom stuff still open? What are you having for supper, Dusted? If you don't mind me asking. If you have to check on it, my guess is that it's in the oven. Or a crock pot. Pretty much anything involving heat. Could also be a microwave. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and drag this on there. Let's go ahead and we are going to... Yeah, we do need to have the music mixer group there. Music source prefab, we'll go ahead and grab that. Alright, ambience, sound effects, 0.25, 0.25, that's all good. Alright, so let's go ahead and remove you. So now our music system should be the new TQ music system. Real quick, I'm just going to go ahead and test it. Should behave exactly the same because we haven't actually made any changes yet. But the ultimate goal here is that we're going to have the music system itself, or the TQ music system, automatically crossfade for us, so we don't have to tell it to crossfade. So we'll go ahead and do that. And yep, I think we're good. All right, so made a quiche. Okay. I mean, that's phonetically correct. At least I think so. I would actually probably pronounce that quiche if it has the K like that. I feel like the K would co-opt the I and make it a quiche instead of a quiche. Okay, so for this, we're going to want to go ahead and say override. And now we have a bunch of stuff. So we need, let's see, on play or play music. We probably want that. Go ahead and say override. We'll do play music, override cross. Oh, we might actually only need to override crossfade music now that I think about it. Um, stop music, crossfade sources. Oh, no, we don't. Uh, hmm. Indexes, target index. No, 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 no. I don't need to override the crossfade music part. I think I just need to override our play music. That should be fine. So, and we're not actually going to change any of the base functionality, so we just need to override it and then tell it to crossfade out other things. So we don't need to get rid of crossfade. Are there other things we need though? Set music volume. No, that should be good. So stop music. Yes, we do need to do that. So the stop music is, let's see, where are you? Stop music. Here we are. All right. So we're going to do, again, the same thing. We're just going to build on top of base functionality. Well, you tried to spell. In my book, that's all it really takes. That's all it really does take. I am terrible at spelling. So it's a good thing I'm not making a game that requires accurate spelling, is what I'm saying. All right, so on top of base.play music, we're also going to want to say global.get ambience manager, although we're going to rename that. Dot set. Oh, no, no. Right, I made that static, so I don't need to do that. I can just say ambience manager dot set volume. Yeah. Audio types. Well, no, I guess we'll say ambience type. Ambience type, followed by ambience volume, followed by crossfade. Oh crap! That might cause problems. I guess that's fine. We're never really going to have a crossfade of 0, I don't think. So I'm basically just kind of hijacking the original crossfade value, which is the amount of time that it takes for the audio to fade in. And in that time, I'm just going to basically crossfade the other audio out. So it kind of makes sense for those to match up. But in the situation where I have crossfading equals 0, it means that music will just start playing, and all of the ambience and sound effects will just get super quiet right away. And that, I'm not crazy about that. So I'm going to go ahead and say I'm going to add a new slider here. Well, a new float field. Let's go ahead and serialize that field. I'm going to say private float default crossfade is equal to 2f. Let's go ahead and tooltip this, and we're going to say duration of ambience slash SFX crossfade when musical crossfade is 0. And I'm basically just going to do a comparison here. So if crossfade is less than or equal to 0f question mark, then we will say default crossfade. Otherwise, we'll pass in crossfade. So we're going to want to go ahead and copy this and do the same thing for SFX type and then SFX volume. All right. Just got to use Levenstein distance. What is that? I'm curious as to what this is. And if it's close enough, assume the player meant, right? Nothing could go wrong with that. Is a string metric for measuring the difference between two sequences. Huh. Oh, I guess that makes sense. That's basically like a word, like a autocorrect almost. Um, hmm. Oh, jeez. Yeah, I'm trying to avoid autocorrect or like replacement as much as possible because I just one, I don't trust myself with that, and two, I really don't want to put words, like literally put words in the player's mouth. Um, so I think I'm more comfortable with people just having difficulty spelling something, especially because I have that word suggestion. So whenever you start typing something, it gives you word suggestions. Well, not really suggestions; it just tells you what the dictionary knows in that sequence of chains or of characters. And I think that's a good enough deterrent for spelling things wrong because you can just start typing things, and as long as you have a vague understanding of how it's spelled, it should tell you. Um, all right, so we're gonna do bass.play music, all that stuff. We will do the crossfades. I'm just going to make sure that this is all correct. Okay, good. Um, and for stop music, this is where it gets fun. Um, we're probably just going to do this part again, except we're going to set this to 1F. Okay. That should be pretty good. And that means that we no longer should have to... Where are you, music trigger? Um, we shouldn't really have to do that anymore. We shouldn't have to crossfade things out. But, I do need to make my music system automatically clean up after itself. That is something that I need to do. So we're going to want to add, I guess, a coroutine, or, well, no. It would be on music stopped, right? Yeah, it would be on music stopped. Okay. Um, I'm trying to think if that would be reliable. Yes. I'm like 95% sure that that would work and be fine to put it here. Okay. So I need to override on music stopped here. So we're going to say override on music stopped. We'll go ahead and do this. And I think that's actually going to automatically handle fading ambience back in. So we should be able to basically just get rid of the whole ambience manager call that music trigger has to make now. So we should just be able to say play this music through the music system. It should understand what it needs to do, and the music system should automatically crossfade things out. And then, oh crap! I guess it's a good thing I have that default crossfade because this would totally be impossible otherwise. So it should also clean itself up nicely, so it should automatically fade back in. But let's go ahead and test that. And if it's close enough, assume nothing could go wrong with that. Yeah, it just gives you a number for how close those two strings are. Yeah, the only reason that I don't want to do that is because I don't know what a safe threshold would be, and in Sierra mode, which is the game's hard mode, you can actually break things if you type the wrong thing. So the last thing I want to do in a mode that's already meant to be brutal is to say, well, you kind of mistyped something, and now it thinks you wanted to eat the key. So, yeah. No, I tend to err on the side of allowing the player to. I try not to make assumptions on the part of the player in any mechanics that I really do. I find that that's always been a frustrating point for things when I play. So I try not to do it myself. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this. Isn't that nice? Jeez. Now we should have a fade back in. Nice! It worked! And if you could hear through the annoying Windows pop-up, um, our footsteps actually got quieter. We couldn't hear them while I was walking around. And that's what I wanted. Because it was kind of jarring to hear the ambience fade out, but then you still hear this super loud, like, crunch, 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 whenever you walk. So So nice. Our music system is now a lot more streamlined. We don't have to make separate calls to the ambience manager. It'll just automatically do that for us. So we should probably just go ahead and I guess we'll rename the ambience manager audio manager? Maybe. What do I want to call that? Am I already using the audio manager? No, there's not an audio manager. I guess I could call it that. I really don't want to call it that, but I don't know what else to name it because it's not really an ambience manager anymore. It is very much a all-around audio manager. So it's kind of weird to call it ambience manager. So I guess we'll call it. I don't know. I guess audio manager is honestly the one thing that I can do. And it makes sense because it is controlling the audio. So we'll just go ahead and call that audio manager. All right. And we're going to have to rename that script itself. Let's say audio manager. All right. So I think with that, we're in a pretty good position to go ahead and move on to minigames. Well, loading screen minigames. I do not know how far we're going to get with that. Hopefully we'll be able to get far enough to make one. I think I have an idea of what I want to do with that. It's just going to be kind of awkward. Because it's going to involve ASCII art and very simple minigame programming. So hopefully that'll be fun. But we are going to have to start with a base script, which I think we'll call loading screen minigame. Assuming that we don't already use that for our other minigames, which we probably do. Let's go ahead and collapse all this. Collapse all of this. Collapse audio. And collapse all of that. I guess we'll keep overworld open for now. And collapse you. Collapse our parser and our triggers. Alright. So, let's see. We have loading screen. So we have a loading minigame, and we are going to go ahead and just move all of this. Oh, wait, no, the view is kind of important, I suppose. Okay, so we're going to move some of this into archive, into a folder called archive, and we will probably delete that once we're done. But for now, we're going to just keep the script so I don't break stuff. So, these were the 3 mini games that I set up currently. I think I only really used 2, which is word jumble and race, and that's because riddle was a little too vague. Because riddles I found can be either way too easy or way too hard, and I just never really could strike a good balance there. So I never really implemented riddles. But that's fine because we're not going to be doing that anymore. Not breaking things seems important. I've always found that to be a little overrated, really, but, you know, some people think it's important. Okay, and you know the old phrase, you know, you can't make an omelet without breaking a few Teflon pans. So let's go ahead and collapse you. And, oh, that's interesting. I've split up my scripts because, of course, I have. So we're going to go ahead and collapse that, let's make a new folder. We'll call this mini games. It's pretty much the same thing I called the old one, or the original one. We're going to create a base class that I'm going to call a loading screen mini game. I think that's probably fine. I really don't know what this base class is going to have in it. Because, for the most part, the mini-games they're not all the same. They have a lot of similar elements, but they don't all have the same thing. So, that's probably... let's go ahead and have a text quest namespace. that, and I honestly don't know what else. We'll have a class that we derive from, but I think for now we're not going to put anything in it yet. So let's go ahead and let that compile. I guess I'll also go ahead and have a folder called like core or something, so that I can have specific mini games in specific folders. So we'll have folder. We're going to have intro. Create folder. Overworld. Create folder, and oh, I clicked it right as it was finishing compiling. The best time to click it. And yep, there it is. New folder. Okay, so let's go ahead and call this Underground Kingdom. Alright, so those are the three major areas of our game split up. Core is going to have this, of course. And for now, we'll focus on, I think, the mini game for the transition from the plains to the forest, or to the woods. Because that's the one that I have a simple idea for, and I think it'll work. So, let that finish compiling. Go ahead and open this up. Let's close some of the stuff that we don't need. Why does it think that whatever. Come on. I believe in you, Unity. Alright, go ahead and create C# script. We're going to call this Plains Woods minigame. That's not a super great name for these things, but I don't really have a better naming convention, honestly. Because this is the minigame that happens when you're going from the plains to the woods. I probably could say plains to woods. Okay. Let's go ahead and open that up. So this minigame, I was thinking it would be nice to have like a... What's a good example? There's an old Sonic game that did this. I think it was Sonic 3D? One 3D Blast. I guess it would be Sonic and Knuckles. Hold on. Sonic and Knuckles. We'll say like 3D. I'm like 90% sure. Oh no, it's just making it 3D. Crap. I think Sonic Advance had them. I'm lucky. Dang it, there's just a bunch of 3D crap. Well, anyway, the thing I was going to say is I am basically going to be making a mini game that is like the hero walking towards the middle of the screen, and you can go like left or right to dodge things. And I was thinking it would be sort of like a pseudo forced perspective 3D thing, but it's in ASCII. So this is an incredibly bizarre thing for me to say because none of that makes sense, I'm pretty sure, unless I actually show you what I mean. So names are in fact the hardest part of programming. That and spelling. Yep. I've definitely misspelled a few things, especially in variable names, and then I start typing that variable out, and I'm like, why aren't you completing? Why do you think you're wrong? It's like, oh, because I spelled it wrong the first time. Okay. So this is going to be in the TextQuest namespace. We are going to have this derived from loading screen minigame. And so what we're going to need in this is, let's see. We are going to want, I guess, so we're going to want, I think, a field, private, rect transform, hero. Then we'll have rid of rect transforms. Is that what I would want? Maybe. The worst part is when it makes it through a pull request and you change it later, cause the change is really obvious and everyone calls you out on it. Yeah. Yeah. That's why I typically try not to push changes until like I'm absolutely sure that I'm good. I'll commit stuff to my own branch, obviously, but I try not to merge up into dev or something like that until it's good to go. All right, so for this one, I guess we're going to have let's see. We're going to have another serialized field. This will be private rect transform hero positions. Then equal to new rect transform 0. We are going to have private rect transform obstacle positions equal to new rect transform of 0. Oh, not object of 0. And we'll go ahead and serialize that field. And let's see, we're going to have private float speed is equal to, say 1F for now. Go ahead and serialize that field. And I think that's probably good for now. We're going to need to set up things like our obstacle positions and whatnot, but I think we're good for now. Actually, let's see. We are going to also need. Give me a second here. We're going to want to have a serialized field private rect transform hero end position is equal to nothing. And let's go ahead and move this up here. We are also going to want to have, just a bunch of stuff. Trying to think, how can we automate some of this? Private int. I feel like I could make that a uint, but might as well make it an int. Hero index. It's going to be 0. Actually, no, it's going to be 1 by default. That's one of the few times I'll ever do that. That's actually something that I need to have in the base minigame. Go to definition. So this is going to be abstract. This is going to have a public void start minigame. And that's going to be abstract. Okay. We'll go ahead and say public abstract void end minigame. I kind of want to say stop, but that's not quite accurate. So those are two functions that I'm definitely going to need. Let's go ahead and say override start minigame. Let's get rid of view. We'll say override end minigame. Okay. So let's go ahead and I'm gonna just kind of jump into a new scene. And we're going to make a really, really, really quick prototype of this. So first things first. I say that, but then it won't let me right click. So we're going to create UI. We're going to make a canvas. Okay, all of that's fine. We will have. I'm going to make a quick test script here. So we'll say test minigame. Okay, test loading minigame. This is just going to be a script that tells a minigame to start playing. Because normally this stuff would be told by the loading screen to start playing, but we don't want to go through a whole thing to do that. So let's go ahead and save this. All It's going to be a text quest namespace. We're going to just take a public loading screen minigame, private void start. And then we'll go ahead and say minigame.start. Oh, and I guess we'll want to test for stopping it. So we'll say private void update. Oh, come on, seriously. Let's go ahead and say public key code end key is equal to key code dot space, I guess, except I can't spell space. That'll be fine for now. We'll say if input dot get key down end key. Then we'll say minigame dot end minigame, because we need to be able to start both the starting and the stopping. Okay, let's go ahead and let that compile. And now we begin the visualization. This is where it's going to get nuts, because we're going to be doing ASCII art, which is great because I'm super good at it, right? That's why all of my characters look totally realistic in their character. Okay, so first things first, we're going to go ahead and just create a solid black image for the background. Once Unity compiles, of course. Okay, so image, let's go ahead and stretch that. Make it black by default. Not that it matters, but I'll make it my solid. Alright. Oh, right. Yeah, I'll go ahead and make this a scene. So this will be a loading screen test. Alright. Let's just go ahead and bump this up to here. So we'll also go ahead and add this to that. Okay. And, okay, on our root, that's what we're going to call that. We're going to make a new minigame. And we'll go ahead and call that minigame. Let's go ahead and apply our planes to woods minigame. We'll give it a root as well. Have that stretch. Have you stretch. All right. So this is where we're going to get a little more involved in the actual layout. So I'm going to create a UI, TextMesh Pro text. Okay, so this is going to be our hero. Cool. Let's go ahead and say HERO. We will make it centered. And not that it matters, but centered. It is going to use our correct 8-bit font. And I am like 90% sure that I can set the kerning on this, or the line spacing, which would be this. So let's go ahead and say -1. Yep, okay. -10. And 15. Yeah, 10 is fine, I think. Okay. Makes things a little more compact. We're going to blow this up to 72. Yeah, that's pretty good. Let's go ahead and we're going to set our width to be 60, with a height of, I don't know, 150. Oh, wow, way more than that. 250. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, next we are going to just go ahead and move this down. So we're going to have them be like right about here. That's pretty good. Let's also, God, this is going to be so weird. Having like, we're basically going to be pulling off like SNES levels of 3D. Except it's not even that. It's more like a weird like middle step between NES and SNES, where it's not actual 3D. We're just making it look like 3D by scrolling text. So, jeez, this is going to be nuts. Okay, so first things first, which I've been saying a lot for some reason this stream, I'm going to go ahead and call this the background. So this is going to be the background that the background itself doesn't actually scroll. So this is going to be things like our path and our horizon line. And as a quick aside, what I'm setting up is basically going to be the walk from the plains to the woods. That's what this minigame is going to be. So it's going to be the player, the hero, walking along a path, basically dodging left and right to avoid things. It's just going to be a very, very simple minigame. But I think it's much more visually interesting than, like a loading screen that has a word jumble. I think this is a little bit more interesting and more fun. Okay, so with this, we're going to go ahead and create another Text Mesh Pro text object. This one's going to be weird. It's going to stretch across the entirety of this, and it's just going to be this. Can I do dashes? Nope, it's going to be... Actually, you know what? I think dashes would be better. So it's going to be dashes. All right. Crap. Hold on. Yeah, I was worried about that. Okay. Okay. That means it has to be programmatically done. Hooray! Okay. Horizon text, or horizon label. So this horizon right here, it's going to be hard coded for now, but it actually needs to be generated via code. That way we don't that way we don't have problems when we go to 16 by 10 support. So you can see that the same amount of dashes in 16 by 10 is actually not super great. Although actually, can we get away with that? I'm going to go ahead and change this canvas scalar screen size. I believe it's 720 by 1280. Oh wow, that was completely backwards. 1280 by 720. If it's 16 by 9. Although I guess I can just look at this to double check that. So it's, yes, 1280 by 720 versus 1280 by 800. Okay, so this is actually better because that means that I don't have to programmatically do that because it's going to be the same no matter what. So if I go ahead and do that, and then we convert this to 16 by 9, same thing. Okay, better. All right, so with that, we're going to go ahead and change this horizon label to be, I don't know, 0.75, 0.75, maybe 0.6. That better, I guess. Let's go ahead and also scroll this down to there. All right, that's our horizon line. Looks pretty decent. Might end up changing that to solid. I don't know. But our next thing is going to be our actual path label. So let's go ahead and make another Text Mesh Pro text. We're going to call this path label. Make sure that it's using our correct font. This is where things are going to get really, really weird, really, really fast. And hopefully we'll be okay with that. But we are going to anchor ourselves from 0 to 0.6. With basically just being stretched all the way for the rest of it. 0, 0, 0, and 0. Okay. So with this, we're going to have it be centered and also centered. I think that's what we're going... Actually, no, we're probably going to want to have it just be like that. All right. So this is where it's going to get really weird. So we want to do vertical lines like this, spaced out, followed by vertical lines spaced out slightly more, except it's, this is going to be kind of an awkward forced perspective thing. So spaced out again. So we're basically going to be increasing by one space every time. So you can see it starting to look like a path that gets smaller as it goes into the distance. We might end up adjusting our spacing though, because I think it's getting a little too wide. Yeah, it's getting too wide. I would like it to be about this wide by the time it gets to us at the base. But we'll keep going to see what we get. Space, space, space. And basically what's going to be happening here is The player has to either dodge left, right, or center to avoid obstacles that are coming in. I think we got room for 2 more. Yeah, I think we can definitely stand to shrink these in by about 2, I'm guessing. Oops, too much. Oop. Ah, dang it, it threw me off. There we go. Dang it. All right, there we go. That's a little bit more reasonable. So if you could imagine just 2 extra lines in the center here, one going like here, one going along here. And we're going to do the old school like F0 scaling effect. Let me see if I can actually find a GIF of that. So we're going to say F0 SNES GIF. See if I can find something here. I'm really hoping that we can. Yeah, okay. Well, not quite what I was looking for, but you can see how things kind of scale in as they get closer to you. And that's going to be the effect that I'm actually going to try and do. Except it's going to be even less 3D looking because it's going to be just straight up ASCII art that we move around. I wonder if we can find a good one here. Surely there's a GIF of something happening. Yeah, there we go. This is a good one. So you can see as you get closer to the other racers, they sort of scale up. That's what we're going to be doing, basically. All right. So now that we have our path set up, we're going to want to set up our actual objects. And the point of the objects is that they'll just kind of like spawn in on the left, spawn in on the right, or spawn in on the center, and then fall towards you. And you just want to avoid them. Okay. Let's see. So that's our background. We don't really need to do anything beyond that. Oh, right. We do. So part of the challenge of this is also going to be having trees show up on the sides here. And that is going to be a whole thing. Okay. Oh, and actually, you know what? While we're here, we might as well colorize these things. So let's go ahead and make... I'm not sure if I want to do... Yeah, we'll go ahead and make these color for now. I don't know if we're going to want to make these like monochrome later, so it's just white, and the player is the only one that gets to be a special color, but I think it's fine to colorize these for now. So go ahead and make these like a yellowish, like that. All right, so we're starting to look like some woods, and let me grab the map. So control mapper. There's going to be a lot of maps, isn't there? Woods map. Map section. No, that's not right. Wood sign. Okay, fine. Let me go grab my items real quick. Data. Interactions. Item database. There we go. We're looking for nothing because it doesn't exist. Of course it doesn't. Okay, let's go ahead and find this. Oh, wait, right there. Come on! Really? Fine. Let me go to the cabin real quick. It's probably because it's just in that level for now. So we're going to just steal the ASCII art that I already did for the trees from the map. Actually, now that I think about it, I can show you guys what the ASCII art presentation I'm kind of going for looks like, assuming that it still functions. I'm hopeful that it will. So let's go ahead and play in here real quick. And then I'm just going to take a look at the map on the table. And it should have some ASCII art that we can then look at and steal. Because I'm pretty happy with the ASCII art that we did for it. All right. So if we read... Ta-da! So here is our ASCII art for trees. And this is our path. You can see that it's like that yellowish color. So I guess we're going to want to use solid horizontal lines. And so the actual lower lines instead of dashes. So these trees that you see here will be the ASCII art we use for our trees, and they will be scrolling up as you get close, as they like go past you, basically. So we're going to need to grab the map, and we have to grab this. This is super weird, but that's the entirety of the ASCII art actually, which is kind of bad because that's not going to give us exactly what we want, but we'll be able to parse out what we need from it. So let's go ahead and stop playing. I'm going to jump over to loading screen text, and now we begin the fun part of setting up a tree in TextMesh Pro. So this is going to be our tree label. We're going to go ahead and have that anchor everywhere and be centered. Let's go ahead and paste this in. So things will look messed up for now, but that's fine. Switch over to 8-bit font. We're going to straighten this up ourselves. Oh crap, I can't do that. Right, I have to use rich text to get this to look right. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. But we are going to go ahead and get rid of the second tree over here because we don't really need it. Oh right. That's fine. Let's go ahead and get rid of you. You. This is so weird. I'm trying to figure out how to style this. Okay. You. Okay, I think we're good there. Oh crap, that's not right. Time out. There we go. I want to get rid of that. We are almost done. Okay. Get rid of the extra space here. And I think we want to get rid of you. And get rid of you. No, hold on. Time out. We're really close, except there's some oddity that I don't know what to do with. Yeah, no. No. What did I do? Okay. Oh, right, because this is supposed to be like a very, very shallow horizon. Okay. Right. No, we're good. We're good. So I want to get rid of crap. Dang it! I don't know. It's. I'm pretty sure that's not what we get rid of. What does this do? Oh, that's our. Okay. I know what I want to do. I want to get rid of this. Might be worth building a small editor script to help with putting ASCII in the text boxes. Yeah, that's definitely true. But part of the problem is that since I'm using TextMesh Pro for this, although honestly there is no reason that I can't just make these sprites, except I want to do it in TextMesh Pro. But I have to actually look at it and build it with this, otherwise it will like this obviously looks wrong if I look at it like this because it's all centered. But it looks right when you actually look at it in the editor or in the game view, but it looks wrong in the text box. So yeah, I mean, building a tool would be useful, but I don't know what I would how I would go about building that. I don't really know what I need. But I'm sure as we build more and more of these mini games, I'll get a stronger idea of that, and that actually would become much more viable as a thing for me to do. Okay, so let's go ahead and get rid of that. We're gonna get rid of. Let's see. But yeah, I mean, definitely having a tool would be more helpful than not. So we're going to get rid of that. So this is going to be kind of awkward because we're going backwards. So we're going to get rid of that. Okay, but we want to keep this. Get rid of the color green. Keep you, but get rid of you. Right. So now we just have one more line, and then we should be good. Get rid of this, and actually no, we want to get rid of pretty much everything up to here. Ah! All right, so that's our tree. That is a monster of ASCII, and that is the best tree that I could do, by the way, in ASCII. I really wish I was better at ASCII art, but we also have to work within the limitations of TextQuest's aesthetic, so I can't go crazy, and I don't want to make like something super ridiculous that has special fonts and all that. I don't want to do that. I want to make sure that I have a cohesive font choice. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. I'm just glad I was able to figure out some design that kind of works. I'm not super crazy about how like leaf is spelled out like this, but I couldn't get it to say tree. It looked too weird having it say tree. And the capital T was just a problem. So going for leaf, I think this works a little bit better. Plus, since it's an ASCII aesthetic, having the individual leaves be spelled out like this kind of makes more sense anyway. All right. So that's basically all our tree label is going to be. I'll go ahead and resize this though. So let's go ahead and position it at 0 and 0 again. Let's set our width to be 200. Oh no, more than that. 300. 400. Yeah, let's try 350. That's good. I'm basically just trying to get it as close as possible. Is it going to be 400 this time? Ooh, I was like almost dead on. All right. So that's going to be a prefab. Let's see, hold on here. Let's go ahead and organize this a little bit. View, create, folder, scripts, create, folder, prefabs. Oh, dang it, why did I do that? I could have just dragged that prefabs folder. Move that to here. Move you to there. All right. And now I did that because I need to have a semi-understandable organization for these, and I'm going to put prefabs next to scripts. So we'll go ahead and say create folder, planes to woods, not plans, planes. Then we'll go ahead and say create folder, prefabs. Okay. One of these days it will finish compiling. A tree fab. You should tell everyone what you just said because you should feel very proud. That is a very, very good pun. I'm admittedly jealous that I did not think of that. I am sad that I was not able to come up with that myself. That is amazing. All right. So we want to go ahead and make this a prefab. I'm sorry, tree fab. All right. So now we can pull that in whenever we need it. Crud. That might. Ah, no, that sucks. That's gonna. Okay. I like. That's actually not quite going to be what I want. Go ahead and create object. We're going to steal this, copy component, paste component values. All right, I'm just going to go ahead and move this up, and we are going to make this our tree label. We'll call this our label. And I kind of have to do things like this, and I will explain why a little bit later. But we will go ahead and stretch that out like that. Okay, that works pretty well. Go ahead and, oh, crap. Of course. That original prefab. Make this tree label like that. Apply. Okay, so let's go ahead and delete that. Save. Alright, so that's going to be one of the trees that we spawn in, and we'll just kind of randomly do so and position them so that they scroll and pass you. Next, we're going to want some obstacles, which I guess we could probably have just be like rocks and logs. So we can simply do things like log. And basically you would just have to dodge these as they... Let's see if I can do this. Oh, no, of course not. So just imagine it kind of like scrolling down, and if it gets to here before you move and you're in on the left side of the screen, then you would get hit, and we would just have like a little stun animation. Then it would just go off screen and be done. Then we would have one that goes down the center, then one that goes down the right. You know, pretty standard old school affairs. The only difference is that as it goes from, let's see, so up at the very top, it would probably be something like 12, and then we'll have it snap to like 36 when it gets to the midpoint here, and then we'll have it probably snap to something like, I don't know, 72. Wow, that's super huge, but about that when it gets to here, really, and that's when it would hit you. Probably about here is when you have the last second chance to dodge it. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and call this our label. We will make it 48 by default. That's pretty good. Let's go ahead and center it. We'll give it a width of 150. Yeah, that looks good. 0 it out. Copy this component. Paste a new one in here. Call this log obstacle. I really hope I'm spelling that right. Oh, good, I am. It's just one of those words that looks wrong to me. Don't know why. All right. Let's go ahead and move our label underneath there. Have it stretch to fill everything. Okay. Pretty simple. We'll go ahead and make that our prefab. And now we just need to set up our hero movement point, so the positions that the player will snap to when you use the arrow keys to move, followed by, I don't know, the end point, which would be up here in the horizon, and then ending with the positions for hazards. So we would probably have them be like here, 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 here. Maybe. I guess I could... I don't want to do it smoothly. I kind of want to give it that faux 3D effect that old school games used, like on the SNES. But for now, let's go ahead and we're going to go say... Oh, geez. This is super awkward. Hold on. I'm going to change my pivot to 0 there. So we can expect our pivot to be there. I'm going to make this be anchored to the very bottom. I really hope this will work. I'm going to go ahead and swap between 16 by 9, 16 by 10. Crap! I was worried about that. Yeah, that's a problem. Gonna call it a night? Alright. It is pretty late, especially for you. It's a whole 30 minutes later there. But I understand that. Alright, well, thanks for stopping by, Dustin. Have a good night. So I might... Oh, geez, that just really makes things tough. It should still be fine. Okay. So I need to programmatically add an extra layer, I believe, to our path here when we're at 16 by 10. So you can see that we have this gap down here now, and that's not okay. Um, so I think we. Okay, let me think about how we want to structure this. We are going to save that. Seriously, how come you are all messed up line endings? I do not understand. So here we're going to want a string. So we're going to need to say serialize field private string. This will be our path start. Wow, this is going to be super awkward. Path start text is equal to. I'm going to totally cheat and just copy what I have. So let me go ahead and grab this path label. We're going to grab the topmost one. We're going to paste this in here. All right. And basically what we're going to do here is let's go ahead and add a initialize minigame. Public abstract void initialize. Oh, right. Sorry. That's abstract. I can't really do anything with that. Okay. So we are going to want to go ahead and say override, initialize, and for that, we're going to get a little odd, and we're going to say, I need a reference to the path label, so we're going to say serialize field, private text mesh, pro UGUI, path label. I know it's not going to compile yet, but I'll get that in a second. Path label. Say using TM Pro. We're also going to go ahead and say using sleepyowl.common because we're going to need that. Let's go ahead and add some references to variables. We're going to say private rect transform tree prefab. Private rect transform. This will be, I guess. I guess this will be our obstacles. Okay, let's go ahead and serialize those fields. Serialize field. And those will be things that will eventually just spawn in. But as far as initialize goes, we're going to have to do some weird stuff. Specifically, oh boy, I think, do I want to look at book? I'm like 90% sure that book is doing something. Get rid of Karante. I only need my stuff. Apparently there's a lot of, oh, it's all Facebook, no wonder. CPL, sleepio, okay, text quest. Book object. Okay. That is not correct. Book item. Well, it's not that either. That's the Markov sequence stuff. Really? I don't believe you. Okay. Page pair, book section, Seriously? Hold on. Time out. Time out. Let's look for my note. My invoice. What are you? You're an item. But I don't understand. How are you? Right. I think I know how this is happening. Give me a second here. It's got a specific output. That's what we need. Once Unity compiles, I'll actually be able to look at it. Let's see. Read. Output. Collapse these things so we don't need them. Read section. That's what I want. All right. So read section. This is basically this is doing what I need to do here, kind of, but in reverse. It's doing X to Y or X axis, so horizontal, but I need to go vertical here. And basically what it's doing is it's programmatically determining how many ASCII figures. Oh, actually, no, that's actually what I need. It's programmatically determining how many ASCII lines to add for the sides of the paper that show up whenever you read a note. So let's go ahead and open that up. Okay, so middle ASCII here. Line info. Text info line count. Oh dear. So that almost works. Crap. Okay. We might call it a little bit of an early night, mostly because I need to do some research on TextMesh Pro to figure out how to do what I want to do. So what I was doing in read section, I was actually getting a set text value, so the string that was going to be shown on the note, and then I was using that string information to figure out how I was going to populate the sides of the paper to make sure that it was the correct height to fit all the content. But I can't do that here because I don't have content. So instead, I have to figure out if I have extra space. So basically, if it's being clipped or not. So that's going to probably require figuring out what TextMesh Pro's calls are for that. I'm going to say to do, so I don't forget, calculate path with label height. To make sure there are no blank spaces at bottom of screen. Okay, and basically what we would do there is we're going to take this base path start text, and we'll just append a space between each of these values every time. So that's going to be fairly easy to do once I figure out how to do so. But that's a pretty good place to stop for the night, though, since I don't know what that call is. So we have audio fading out, or we have the music system automatically fading out ambience and sound effects whenever it's playing. So we don't have to worry about things making separate calls to those systems, and the music system itself will clean up those crossfading effects when it's done playing music, so it'll just crossfade those back up. So that's a pretty nice addition, and we started work on our actual new mini games for loading screens, which I think will be a lot more interesting and a lot more fun, really, because I don't know, I feel like the current mini game system is kind of boring, and I really haven't gotten any. I haven't had a single person say, "Wow, this is a great mini game," at any of my conferences that I've been to. So I think it'll be nice to have a new system here. So, as always, I want to thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you all next time.